Welcome to Pinball Mayhem. This is Ed. Time for another Konami update. As you can see right now, I'm kind of setting it up for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Got the marquee in there, and I got the control panel. It's just sitting on top. The control panel box is hooked up, and I got that green T-molding, which I'm going to put on the front edge. But before I do that, I want to just take the existing T-molding off, sand this down a little bit. This is going to be more of a player cabinet, so let me see if I can take this off with one hand. Set this off to the side somewhere. And this is the box which I repaired previously. You can see the bolt holes did all line up. I do have the T-molding on now. I got the glass, I got the bezel all cleaned up. Next time, I'm going to make sure I remove the glass and everything before I start cleaning the adhesive off the side. This white here is from a little bit of that lacquer thinner seeped in and discolored the bezel. I guess I just have to live with that. The lower metal frame and the screws, I didn't have to repaint. That was in pretty good shape. This is a reproduction marquee I got off of eBay. And the front, at this angle, looks pretty good. You can't really see the blemishes and the issues I had with it when I was laying on its back. The coin door is just sitting in there for just so I can line up the service switch, because I still got I'm working on putting the harness in the back right now. And to the left, you can see all the coin doors I've collected to try to get a good set. So I got one I bought from a buddy, which is the cleanest. And then I got a couple pieces I've got along the way. There's another piece there, there's another one there, so I'm probably going to use that one and just kind of make pieces. The other thing I want to make sure is that the inside of the coin door, the bracketry and all that stuff matches from door to door, so that changing the max and stuff is this seamless. Another thing to take note in with these dual coin doors, I got 4 locks I got to buy matching, which kind of is something you don't even think about. You got to buy 4 locks plus 5 for the one for the back door. So you got 5 locks into here, $5 a piece at least. That's $25 just in locks. T-molding, luckily I had the black, and the green I bought from a local arcade shop. Sides, I'm going to leave black for now because I'm going to change this. It is going to go onto a location to be played, and I want to be able to change the game. I might end up either getting like removable stickers with just the name on it, or just printing a poster, taping it on. I can always sand it down and repaint it. T-molding is actually, it doesn't use much. So the T-molding does start here and go all the way to the back of the cabinet. And it starts at the control panel box, goes down and under about 4 inches. A lot of these cabinets are grooved all the way back, but they never had it installed. You can tell by when I removed it and by inspecting the groove. So, that's the front. Oh, I also put the hinge on, and this is held on with just some shake-proof nuts and some 10-2 carriage bolts. Original ones came with it. I don't know, why can't I hinge this up? I may have tightened those too much. I may have to loosen them up to hinge this up. So this is going to screw to the bottom of the control panel. Should be good. There's also a chain that's got to go onto here. I'm real happy to have this box that I purchased and had to repair, because I got all the original support pieces and all the original screws I was able to reuse. And I just kind of, when I spray painted, I just, there was going to be overspray on this, and this is normally a show, so I just kind of gave it a light overspray. Didn't really care much, because the inside, you can see some of the original overspray. They didn't do too much. So I'm going to go around to the back side of this and kind of show you what I've been doing on the back. So mounted the board, and from what I can tell, it's about the same location. And I had the wiring harness from Golden Age Arcade. I'm just trying to lay it out. But the one thing I wanted, why I need to put the coin door in, is test switch. So that goes to a standard, what they had is just a regular arcade push button switch with a micro switch on it. So I'm going to have to go grab one from the house. That goes to that. So I'm going to have to put that on first before I start zip tying the down. So yeah, this will have to go to the switch first before I button up anything. The other thing, you see these wires are jammed in there. That's just a part of the original harness that's been hacked for whatever JAMA game was in here, Golden Tee. So I will figure out the mono audio. I'll talk about that in a minute. The other thing to take note is this ground strap will have to be routed, making sure it hits both doors. And I believe, yeah, at least both doors. And I see these staples on the side. These are for zip ties. This is the way they originally did it. So I'm going to start wiring up, figure out the doors the way they need to. I'm going to wire them up outside the cabinet, put them in, button them down, and start. Everything should just plug in the way that he designed the harness. So this is coin 1. That should go to coin door 1. This is for the kick harness, and this should be coin door 2. And because coin 2 actually has the kick harness connection, that's 2 pins. What that means is the coin shares a lot of the power and things that the coin 1 does, but these 2 wires that go to the kick are actually player 3 and 4 start, and those have to go to these connections back here. I'm gonna try to get a better look on the board. This is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, which is slightly wider than Simpsons or X-Men. I tried to get it to the original location. I actually got these feet with Simpsons. These are original Konami feet, and from what I've seen from pictures and watching a lot of videos online, this is how the feet originally were mounted. I am still using the original power supply. So let me scroll down to here. I opened it up, I blew it out real good, had a lot of junk in it, voltages test out good. I replaced the 80 millimeter case fan with another one. Now this fan, just take note, blows down and then out the back. So this is cooling the fan and taking the air from the inside of the cabinet out. But I guess the only comment I have on the Golden Age is the connector that he puts here is the wrong polarity for this pin. All the wires were right, but it was a female connector and not a male, and I needed to luckily I had a housing laying around. I have tons of this stuff, so I had a housing and pins. So if you're going to get this from him, you do get the housing because you get a little kick harness to go from this plug to let's say a blade power supply if you wanted to. If you want to use the original, the only thing you're going to need is some 0.92 pins, and you're going to need 5 of them at least for this housing, and they're the male pins, and you can swap them out. So you can swap it. I'm going to save all the original stuff in the baggie. It will be in the bottom of the box, the cabinet here. And just to keep that in mind, that if you are using the original power supply, either address it with him, and I will send a message. But I did repin this, his original, trying to unplug it with one hand. There. So the left connector is the original power supply, and the right connector is the one that I had to put on. So keep that in mind there. So you see those pins are the male style pins, and this is this housing. So this does work. I tested it. Another thing to note with these the power supplies in the fan, this power supply has load detection. So if there's no load, it will shut off after a minute or so of being on. I was trying to adjust the 5 volt and I couldn't because it kept shutting off, but and the fan shuts off too. The fan is 12 volt and it's held on by 0.1 connection, a 2-pinner. So if you have 0.1 connection terminals, you can actually just take whatever case fan you have, strip the black and the red wire, put them on, and you can actually replace them and reuse the header with an X-Acto blade, pop them out. I am going to do a video eventually on connectors because I think it's a thing that nobody knows anything about. So that's the power supply. Now, one thing I'd like to touch on, this actually just came up on Facebook, is audio. Turtles is a mono board, and it uses, I believe, L and 10. Don't quote me on the exact wires off of the JAMA connection. This is one thing I really like about Golden Age, this nice housing. And so it has this mono stereo. The other games, X-Men, Simpsons, amongst the others, but the other 2 that I'm putting in here are stereo, which means that there's a 4-pin plug right here that you have each speaker plugs, each wire off of each speaker plugs into it. And you can see they crimp the negatives together, and this is how they had it running with Golden Tee. I just fold the wires back just to test audio. I'm going to do it right. But Simpsons and X-Men both do output audio through the standard mono connection. So if you did want to swap boards and you didn't care about stereo connections, you could just wire it up for mono and be fine. But this way of wiring it is actually running through the speaker positive, ground to ground, back to the speaker positive. So it sounds like garbage. And it's also doubling up the ohms. So it's putting them in series rather than parallel. which I believe is not right. So I need to do some looking up to make sure, see how Turtles is supposed to be wired. But I did, when I ordered this, I ordered both a mono harness and a stereo harness. So I'm going to figure out a way that I can hot swap it easily and be able to switch between the boards relatively straightforward. I may run both harnesses up to the top and only plug one in at a time. You'll have the mono plugged in, or yeah, not plugged in here. I'll figure that out. And I'll let you guys know what I end up doing there. But just want to let you know that even though Simpsons and X-Men are stereo, you should hear audio on a standard JAMA cabinet for the sake of testing. I verified this in both the schematics, that they do tie the grounds together and they go back out to the single ground for the JAMA connection, and then the positives go through a separate mixing channel and go out. So if you're not getting audio in a standard JAMA mono, keep that in mind. There are issues with the audios on the board, and that's the one thing you always check when you're buying any of these Konami 4-player boards. Audio is important. It's a known problem. That's, I think, where I'm going to wrap it up today. I will continue buttoning this up. I want to button up the wiring on the inside, get the coin doors on, and then I got to talk about the control panels. That's a whole nother video. Well, getting those wired in, but I'm very close to being able to play Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Thank you for tuning in. Make sure to check us out on Facebook, Instagram. Make sure to subscribe and hit the notifications and check out our new videos.